Melvin Manhoef's nicknames tell you everything you need to know. Merciless, Mini Tyson, Dutch Beast. Kicking off his kickboxing career in the mid-90s, this natural middleweight was dropping K1 giants like they were on clearance. No size discounts needed. Meanwhile, he strutted into MMA with equal swagger, lighting up opponents like a human sparkler. As they say, hit hard, love soft. Time to rewind and relive the gladiatorial knockouts of one of the scariest dudes to ever step into a cage. Born in May 1976 in Suriname, Melvin, the future Dutchman by residency, was raised by parents who moved to Europe and tried to make him a soccer star. But once he got a taste of Muay Thai, he said, "See ya, soccer ball," and chose the fighter's life. Despite his love for throwing hands, 19-year-old Melvin debuted in MMA under gritty old-school rules. No gloves, no clenched fists, just pure chaos. Going pro didn't dull Melvin's knockout mojo. He had a pre-fight ritual that spooked opponents. Some called it disrespectful, but let's be real, it was just good psychological warfare. And it worked like a charm, stubbornly fighting in open weight classes. Manhoef was collecting heavyweight chins like a kid hoarding baseball cards. But the victory dance of this 5 feet 9 inches slugger couldn't last forever. Enter Bob Schreiber, aka Dirty Bob, a guy who treated rules like suggestions. He was allowed one big haymaker in no-holds-barred fights and used his beefy right hand to flatten worn-out foes. Melvin, well aware of Bob's shady rep, wasted no time introducing him to the canvas. But in a rookie move, Melvin didn't finish the job, letting an easy KO slip through his fingers. He went back to dishing out punishment, but Dirty Bob pulled a fast one, spitting out his mouthpiece. A clueless ref paused the fight mid-barrage, giving Schreiber a breather to regroup and pull off a sneaky takedown. Talk about snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. On the ground, weight won the day. Stung by the unfairness, Melvin learned 2 hard lessons. Never ease up until the ref calls it, and don't wrestle with human bulldozers. In 2005, Mini Tyson dropped to light heavyweight, hitting the reset button. His fresh start in the Cage Rage octagon was lit up with fireworks, literally and figuratively. Sometimes you gotta lose to win. The title hunt wrapped up in September. Brazilian Fabio Piemonte walked straight into a firestorm. His fancy jiu-jitsu, useless. Back on his feet, Melvin went full horror movie on his opponent. The whole scrap lasted 51 seconds, mouthpiece flying. Piemonte floored, and a shiny new belt for Melvin. The first title defense was set for February 2006. Brazil's Evangelista Santos, aka Cyborg, with his blazing fists, was flown in. A perfect pick for a road trip bloodbath with the Merciless. But what went down blew everyone's minds. The Dutchman, without warning, started sniping with his signature left hook. Finding his groove, Melvin unleashed his trademark multi-punch combos. Soon, both hard-hitting warriors bit down on their mouthpieces and went toe-to-toe, old-school style, trading blows like they were on a Black Friday sale. Neither even dreamed of tapping out. Santos's arms got heavy, but so did Melvin's incoming bombs. The Brazilian hung tough, landing a couple of lefts. Then Cyborg flipped on his backup battery and took the driver's seat. Now, Melvin was wobbling on legs like soggy noodles. By the fight's halfway mark, both guys found it easier to eat punches than throw them. But the Surinamese beast could still swing from the hip. At the 9-minute mark, their chemistry ignited a blockbuster explosion. That night, delivered the greatest battle in the promotion's history, a masterclass in grit over skill and sanity. When the going gets tough, the tough get swinging. For the 29-year-old Manhoef, this win was his golden ticket to the big leagues. Before heading to Japan's softer martial arts scene, the Dutchman defended his title one last time. UFC vet Jan Freeman, with a truckload of experience, lasted a measly 17 seconds before doom struck. For a final European hurrah, the Merciless popped into Amsterdam's K1 ring. Tatsufumi Tamihira, tried to channel samurai cool at the start. But one pinpoint head combo sent him staggering. The samurai clawed back to his feet, but less than a minute later, he was down for the count. With Europe in the rear view and 5 straight finishes, Melvin packed his bags for a business trip to Japan, joining a 90-kilogram Grand Prix. In the quarterfinals, another Gracie family member got launched across the ring. This Brazilian heir wasn't about to test his chin, hitting the deck from the lightest breeze. When playing nice started to cramp Melvin's style, he pounded the helpless grappler into the canvas. Next up, a striker stepped into the ring, and the Merciless was in his element. That same night, the final pitted Melvin against Asian TV star Yoshihiro Akiyama. Despite his quirky nickname, Yama mowed down foes with slick judo and a bone-crushing strike straight from Mother Nature's playbook. On the cusp of a world title, Melvin didn't care about his opponent's resume. For 30 seconds, the Japanese played hide-and-seek in his judogi folds, luring the Dutchman into a clinch. The Merciless sprang back to his feet, but trying to outsmart a judo master was a bad bet. The crowd's cheers and the Grand Prix title went to Sexy Yama. Even in defeat, Manhoef kept his spark. Losing a 10-fight streak didn't derail Melvin's 2007 plans. March brought Takashi, one of Japan's top punchers, who briefly showed his chops. But when Melvin teased a kick, he promptly broke the boxer with his bare hands. That summer, the Dutch Beast rocked a flashy new collar. His opponent? A fellow Surinamese with punches almost as heavy as Melvin's. In the ring, these warriors didn't waste time, diving into an all-out slugfest. Melvin added another knockdown to his piggy bank, outpacing his foe out of the clinch. In June, he jumped back to kickboxing to settle a grudge with Russia's amateur world champ, Ruslan Karayev. The showdown? Over in 31 seconds flat. A surprise left hook caught Karayev napping. An autopilot low kick sealed Melvin's signature combo on a limp body. No slowing down for Melvin, in MMA either. Within a year, 3 more foes hit the mat, trying to remember their own names. By summer 2008, Manhoef's resume boasted 21 wins, 20 by knockout. Joining the up-and-coming Dream promotion, Melvin dove headfirst into an 85-kilogram Grand Prix. His quarterfinal foe? None other than Sakuraba, the timeless legend who once carried pride on his back. His ground game wizardry was the stuff of myths, but Sakuraba's pre-fight skit, playing a battered fighter, turned out to be a prophecy. A fired-up Manhoef didn't mess around, going straight for the head. Improvising a brutal finish on the fly, Melvin delivered a knockout sentence to the sports pioneer. Eating a perfect high kick and a few slaps, the samurai clung to fading consciousness, but didn't last long. Manhoef became a star overnight. His winning streak hit a snag in the semi-final against Gegard Mousasi, thanks to a highlight reel slam. Though Melvin lost, exposing his ground game woes, he'd soon hit the jackpot twice. Craving kickboxing, Manhoef swung by K1 in early December. The 107-kilo Pole Slawinski talked smack about Melvin, only to learn in the ring that fists speak louder than words. A right-hand snap, and cornering the Polish knockout artist was just paperwork. One punch and it's over. Done. Get him out of here. After the first knockdown, Slawinski regretted opening his mouth. After the second, he was relearning how to talk. Another night. Another knockout. The sting of disrespect was still fresh when a New Year's bout with Mark Hunt came up. He, Dutchman, wasn't keen on tangling with super heavyweight Mark Hunt in MMA. But his sly manager hit him with, "You'd brawl Hunt in a bar for your girl's honor. Why not cash in the ring?" Melvin had no comeback. An 18-second facial rearrangement of Hunt's bulletproof beard later, the New Year's bash with the 2001 K1 champ was a smashing success. 2009 was Melvin's kickboxing year. In March, he faced future K1 light heavyweight champ Kiyotaro Fujimoto, a heartthrob who could cut a rug and throw a mean right counterhook. With a title shot on the line, the drama packed into one wild exchange. Landing a shot, Melvin was ready to zip up the Japanese in a body bag. But a short hook wiped out his belt dreams. To rebuild his mojo, he faced heavyweight Stefan Lecco, aka Lightning, for good reason. The German slugged it out for 2 full rounds with no clear winner. But in the third, Lecco tapped out with an injury. Early August saw the merciless take on Muay Thai multi-world champ Ramazan Ramazanov. Rocking a slick look en route to the ring, Melvin's grit was on full display. The Russian Muay Thai rep had no answer for Manhoef's trademark aggression. Later that month, he scrapped with Dennis Raksa. Pounding Raksa without much enthusiasm, the Dutch beast, Melvin, dragged out the beatdown. A Showtime belt came as a victory bonus. The year's highlight was the K1 tournament's 1/8 round against Remy Banjaski, a fellow Surinamese Dutch knockout machine, and one of the rare 3-time Grand Prix champs. Banjaski was a stickler for his flying gentleman code. He'd already beaten Melvin twice, but this time, the stocky slugger vowed that if the gentleman took flight, it'd be a one-way trip to dreamland. The September showdown proved he had a game plan. Fly high, fall hard. Showing no mercy, Melvin went wrestler mode from the jump, punishing Remy's kicks. The strategy clicked, forcing Banjaski to open up in ways he didn't want. The champ, pushed to attack, only cranked up the crazy. Manhoef kept tying up the sports titan. In the third round, testing Remy's body, Melvin found holes in the gentleman's armor. Another phone booth slugfest didn't crown a clear winner, but Melvin capped it with an uncharacteristic spinning kick to the dome. After 9 minutes, the judges picked their guy, but the fans weren't shy about their feelings on the call. Between kickboxing gigs, the merciless squeezed in a couple of MMA bouts in 2009. In July, he faced American League champ Paulo Filho, sporting a 16-1 record. Melvin shockingly stuffed a takedown early and went on the attack. But overcooking his assault, the Dutchman paid for his aggression when Filho took him down. One of MMA's top grapplers didn't waste his ground advantage. As the year wound down, Manhoef got the call for a New Year's event where winning was non-negotiable. Hyping the Japanese crowd as usual, Melvin needed just one attack in a 2-minute fight. 3 left hooks found their mark, and the retreating Japanese hit the deck. With this win, the 33-year-old ring gladiator celebrated a milestone in his MMA career. At 15, punches buzzed over his head, but 23 knockouts and 30 wins proved he meant business. Eyeing the West, Melvin took a leap into the unknown. His Strikeforce debut came a month later against Robbie Lawler. The future UFC champ Lawler rolled in with 15 finishes and 16 wins, already sizing up the belt. Still, Manhoef was schooling him one-sidedly. But just when victory seemed locked, the Dutchman found himself on the wrong end of a brutal knockout. The Strikeforce flop kicked off a long, dark streak and a career turning point. Bad luck dogged the merciless for 2 more years, stealing the thrill of victory. His comeback trail started in the UFC. Pro wrestler Ryu Amura tried to rattle Manhoef with mind games, but letting the Dutchman land a clean shot only woke the beast. Fooling Melvin once? Nope, twice. Not a chance. Roaring back to success, Manhoef next retired Dennis Kang. The grizzled vet with 15 years of battle scars didn't shy from a firefight, but Dutch knees cut like razors. Launching Kang skyward with a knockout knee, Melvin sent him to a well-earned retirement. His final 2013 Asian outing against Brock Larson was a quick but memorable flash. In the cage, Manhoef aimed to clock out early, avoiding judges' scorecards. But too much grappling tipped the scales against him, ending in a bummer verdict. Still, the viral performance blew up online. US offers flooded in, and for a final hurrah, Melvin rematched the timeless classic with Evangelista Santos. The cage clash proved Cyborg's metal shell had rusted. Not sweating the small stuff, Melvin smashed Santos in 46 seconds. Next up, the MMA Premier League. At 38, Manhoef's move to Bellator kicked off in September 2014. In the main event, former contender Doug Marshall looked sharp on the poster. In the fight, a couple of Suriname's rights sent him soaring. The signature left hook stayed in the holster. 2 months later, Melvin faced pure kickboxer Joe Schilling, who hadn't fought MMA in 6 years but had a trophy case full of Muay Thai belts. Schilling also flaunted a shiny glory title, but Melvin didn't care about his resume, sending the American into a tailspin. Miraculously surviving a knockdown, Joe stretched the fight to a break. In round 2, Manhoef dove back into a wild brawl. Too eager to finish, the Dutchman let Schilling snatch the Knockout of the Year award. 2015 was a mixed bag. In February, Melvin faced ex-Bellator champ Alexander Shlemenko, an Omsk slugger known for heart and a flair for wrecking foes standing. Seemed like a perfect matchup. But against all odds, the Russian threw chaos with sneaky backfists, leaving the veteran dizzy. A spinning backfist blindsided Manhoef. No wonder they called Shlemenko the Storm. The Merciless got one last belt shot in November against Hisaki Kato, a Japanese unknown who'd stunned Schilling earlier. Kato promised a war before the fight. True to his word, Kato charged like a samurai on a mission. Not happy with round 1, he sparked another firefight. Pressing to finish the Dutchman, Kato kept coming. A surgical left hook from Manhoef proved MMA's wild unpredictability. But a 40th birthday gift and Bellator's peak stayed out of reach. In the title clash with Rafael Carvalho, Melvin was the only one bringing real heat. Yet, after 5 rounds, the judges robbed him blind. Only in his 50s did Manhoef finally ease off the gas. Between fights, he trains folks at his Dutch gym and stays sharp by schooling burglars dumb enough to break into his house in March 2022. Those burglars learned why they call him Merciless the hard way. Cops hauled the whole crew to the ER. Above all, the Surinamese Dutchman's a proud dad. He passed down kickboxing roots and the family's killer punch to his son. But Manhoef Jr. grew up and chose soccer over the ring. Now, Manhoef Jr. plays for Stoke City in England and reps the Dutch youth national team. Funny thing, Melvin's parents wanted him to be a footballer, but he picked the bloody sport. Melvin hoped his son would hit the ring, but the kid chose the pitch. Manhoef spent 3 dynamite decades in the fight game's powder keg. One punch and it's curtains. Splitting his career between MMA and kickboxing, Melvin racked up over 100 fights. He didn't snag the biggest belts, but he never left fans bored. His insane knockout rate? Proof he brought the thunder. When nostalgia takes its toll, Melvin can take a few days to linger. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up. See you soon.